Namaste from Dhananjaya Kumar and welcome to this video where I would present to you with a few comments a set of selected quotations from the greatest men and women of the world on the topic language. So the first quotation is by Werner Heisenberg. Every word or concept, clear as it may seem to be, has only a limited range of applicability. Which means that all words or concepts may seem to be very clear, but the range of applicability, your ability to apply them, is limited. Now this refers to, I guess, the origin of language. Why language arose, why language was imagined and created and organized and presented. So just imagine first that there was only one person. Let's imagine you. You are the only person on this planet. Would you need a language? Because there isn't another human being to communicate, to tell them about something, about yourself, and ask the other person about something or about him or herself. You may not even need a language. So essentially, to communicate with yourself, you don't need the language. You have the feelings, ideas which do not need to be put in words. You just feel and experience it, and that's enough. You do not need to describe it. What you see, you observe, and you internalize, and you know about it without using words. So why you need to use words or language in general is because you want to tell other people and other people want to tell you or refer to something that they have seen, observed, feel or experience. So language is essentially a means of communication. That you saw a beautiful flower today in the forest and you come home and there are other people and you want to tell them about it. Then you need the language and you need the name of the flower. That I saw a red rose. You need to name the color red and you need to name the flower. Then if other people have also seen a red flower, they will know what you are referring to. So if you broaden and generalize the concept that Werner Heisenberg is saying, that every word or concept may seem clear but only has limited range of applicability. That belongs to you and your communication with others. So with this beginning, I have a few more very interesting quotations. One of that is by Osho, which essentially carries forward what we were talking in the first quotation, is that language is needed to communicate with others. Language is not needed to communicate with oneself. Because with oneself, you would not need to communicate. You only need to communicate with the other. If you are the only one, then you do not need to communicate because there is no one else to communicate with. So language facilitates communication, exchange of ideas and observations. And then of course, once you have developed language, you write and you invent a printing press, print books and read, and a book available in one place can be sent to the other side of the earth and everybody can read and learn. But to communicate with yourself, language is not necessary. This one from an unknown scholar, unknown to me that is. Language is the dress of thought, which means language helps to carry thought from one to the other. Language is the dress of thought. Every time you talk, your mind is on parade. Because of course you have to apply your mind to use language, grammar, spelling, meaning, etc. So it is not possible to use language and communicate without using the mind. So if you want to silence or relax your mind, first thing you do, stop talking. Because the moment you talk, your mind is on parade. So silence is a virtue from time to time to relax the mind so that it can be more creative and productive and imaginary. If you're talking the mind, if you're talking any language, thoughts in your mind, then your mind is always active, it is not relaxed, and it is not able to contemplate, imagine, and visualize. This is a challenge by Osho. Man could create a society, a world, only because of language. But because of language, man has forgotten himself. Because as indicated in some of the other quotations, to communicate, to know yourself, you do not need a language. Language is very important and necessary for society to deal with the world. All that is possible only because you have language. To transfer knowledge from one person to the other one, to exchange experiences and perceptions, all this language is needed. But language is not needed and even not necessary at all to communicate with yourself or to know yourself. This one is about how language is used by Victor Hugo. Strong and bitter words indicate a weak cause. Because if your cause is strong, deeper and higher level, you are working or attempting to accomplish something big. You do not talk loud and bitter words about it. By loud and bitter conversations, expressions, you actually discourage and put off other people. They probably don't want to listen to you. So if you want their cooperation, if you want to coordinate, work together, you have to be soft-spoken. Soft-spoken and many times slowly spoken. Soft and slow speech helps you win friends and communicate better. Strong, loud and bitter words kind of isolate you from contact in society. In the same theme of language, excessive use of language which inhibits the quality of thinking, is this quotation by Susan Langer. We are drawing close to a time when linguistic thinking will begin to hinder our evolution, which means thinking limited by language, or you only can describe your thinking in words, which means there are enough words to capture all of your thinking. Only those thoughts and experiences which you can verbalize and share are very limited. many of the deeper experiences, which we call mystical experiences, cannot be shared, described and shared, partly because other people have not experienced it with whom you are trying to share. Therefore, there is not a word that you can convey and be understood. So certain experiences which are individual, personal, in the state of meditation, or some mystical experience about yourself or existence, those things can be shared in words only if other people have the same experience. Then you can refer to it and both parties will understand. So this is a very subtle quotation. We are drawing close to a time. This is more a commentary on the modern world, when linguistic thinking will begin to hinder our evolution. So for evolution, we need a more creative, imaginative, visionary thought process and less chattering about it. This is a longer quotation by Michael Talbot. We do not realize that outside the narrow plane of words, there may be vast realms of conscious experience which we are denying ourselves. We have been culturally conditioned to think in words. So we are denying ourselves what? We are denying ourselves access to vast realms of conscious experience which cannot be explained in words. So would you rather use language for everything, or you use language when you need to communicate, and other times you do not use language but dive into vast realms of consciousness? I'll read it one more time. We do not realize that outside the narrow plane of words, there may be vast realms of conscious experience which we are denying ourselves. We have been culturally conditioned to think in words, and because words are limited, our thinking gets limited. One more last quotation. Events and thoughts never happen in words. So thoughts happen as a flow of vibration. It's a vibration of neurons or subtle activity in mind space. Afterwards, when you want to intellectualize or communicate, you recall that aspect of your mind and your brain activity and then give words to it. Similarly, events don't happen in words. Like you are riding a bicycle and you find a little ditch and you move around. So the bicycle is not thinking, the ditch in the road is not thinking that now you are going to stop, and even you are not thinking. It happens spontaneously. It happens instinctively that if your road is uneven, you will slow down or stop or go around it. So these things do not happen in words. Events and thoughts do not happen in words. Words are given to events and thoughts afterwards, sometimes much later and sometimes never. But events and thoughts do not happen in words. With this quotation, I will close this video and we'll meet again soon.